And basically they didn't start digging, they just used metal detectors. And with the metal detectors, they did find a button. And so the button is pretty interesting because it was just a single button. But they were able to take it to a button expert who apparently said that it is dated from the late 1790s to the early 1800s, and it was a military uniform button. So this is pretty exciting because the Lewis and Clark expedition was a military expedition. They would have had their military uniforms, and they probably would have buttons like that. But it's not enough to say we found a button, Lewis and Clark came here, because we know from the journals they traded their buttons. So knowing that the Salish used this site as a trading site, they could have traded the button here. You know, could have been through 5 people before it got to this site. But they were able to use that button as an impetus to get more funding and do more research. So that's when they hired archaeologist Dan Hull. He came out, he concurred with Bob Bergantino, or that this is probably the general area. And so they actually brought out another machine called a magnetometer, which did magnetic readings under the ground. And basically what they do is they take pictures and they just show you where there's disturbances in the ground, where the stratigraphy is no longer natural. So there's nothing to say that it was humans that would have made those disturbances. It just shows disturbances so that you can at least have an educated guess about where you're going to dig. You're not just digging a million holes.
Right.
So they found actually about 50 disturbances that they would have liked to dig up, but they only excavated about 16, and that's just a time and money issue. And so the button, they actually found it right on the other side of that fence, right by those wood posts.
Cool.